Hi, everybody. My name is Simone. I am a recruiter at Amazon, specifically for non-tech roles. Super excited to be here with you at Afrotech. Think this is going to be a really great topic. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this, and I hope you're ready to get some insights about the recruiting world. So today I'm going to be talking about the resume. So getting hired, how do you get into the interview with your resume? Okay, so the resume that wins the job. So today I'm going to be talking about a few things. So we're going to talk about how a resume helps you tell your story, the importance of tailoring your resume, how to actually make your resume stand out. It's going to be key. I will show an example of a good resume and one that needs some work. And then we'll just go through the final checkpoints of what we talked about today. Okay? Okay, so your story, right? We all understand that for jobs, you're told to have a 30-second elevator pitch, and that's verbal during your interview. Well, you can think of the resume as your 30-second written elevator pitch. It's the way that you are able to brand yourself in a short amount of time and describe who you are in a very clear, concise manner, right? This is your opportunity to talk about what you want to do, what you've done, and how that makes you somebody that can add value to a company, right? And it's really about you because you are making the decision of what area you even want to go into. And we'll talk about this a little bit more, but thinking about the specific roles that you're applying to is going to be really important when you're saying, okay, what am I trying to tell the recruiter in my resume? This is your opportunity to tell the story of your professional journey. Okay. And we're going to go into a little bit of how that looks like, but think about from the beginning, before you even put a word on your paper, if you're typing in Word or just writing things down, take a second and think about who am I? What am I trying to accomplish? How do I want to promote myself? What does it mean to even stand out? What is your brand? What am I trying to convey? So take some time, take a second, and just really think about that. Um, and it'll help you kind of gauge how you want your resume to go. Okay. So now that you've taken a few seconds to think about your brand, who you are, what you want to do, and potentially the roles that you want to apply for, well, now you found your target, you need to tailor it. A lot of people think that it's just very mundane and just annoying to just tailor your resume to each and every role, right? But that's going to be extremely important if you're trying to get from resume to interview. You must tailor your resume. I know some of you are thinking, I want to apply to 5 different jobs. I don't want to have to tailor every single resume. I understand. Trust me. I've been through it as well. But taking a little discipline and time to get that together will only reap benefits for you in the future, right? So I really suggest once you find your target, the role that you're trying to apply for, tailor your resume to that role. And you see those bold letters? The reason why is because it takes recruiters maybe only 6 to 10 seconds to just make a decision on a resume. Just think about that for a second. 6 to 10 seconds. I know you spent all this time writing all of your accomplishments down for it to only be looked at for 6 to 10 seconds. But if you think about it, recruiters are looking for hundreds and hundreds of candidates. While we really want you all to get a job, we really are looking for those ones that actually have what we're looking for, you know? And so you need to tailor it, whether you want to be an operations excellence manager or a program manager. What does that job description say about the role and responsibilities? I say right now, take a second. If you're looking at a particular role, specifically, I'm an Amazon recruiter. So if you're looking to come to Amazon, Put that job ID in Amazon.jobs and bring up the job description and look at it. Just take a second and look at it, right? What does it say about the roles and responsibilities? Just kind of review it and think about, what are those bullet points? What is, the what are they asking? What are they requiring of you? And then once you're doing that, I say stop and think, okay, how does my experience meet the needs of the job? Have I done this before? Or can I say I've done this or I am doing this now? That's going to be really important so you can figure out how are you going to put this in words for this particular role, right? We're tailoring our resume for the roles that we're applying for. So if you are currently doing the work right now, think about how you're going to convey that in the ways that you're going to do that. And we will talk about some of that in a second, but really look at the job description. And I'm going to keep saying that, okay? Look at the job description. It is going to be your best friend. I promise you. In all process, in the whole process of interviewing, from resume to interviewing, the job description is your best friend, okay? And it will help you tailor your resume to the role so that you can get that recruiter to say yes. Because once again, we're only taking about 6 to 10 seconds to look at a resume and saying yes or no. Okay? So you know the roles that you want to apply to. You've decided who you were, what your brand was going to be, where you wanted to apply. You've looked at the job description. So now you're at the place where you want to start writing. But how do you make yourself stand out? You said, I have the skill set. I know what I'm doing. I'm competent, right? So what do you need to do to make sure you stand out? Guess what? It's going to be in the details of tailoring your resume. Now, the way that this funnel kind of works is you have all of this experience in your mind. You're just like, I have this point. I have this point. I have this point. I've worked here. I've worked there. And that's a lot, right? That's all of your work experience. But now you have your target. So you're whittling it down to what actually matters, right? So maybe you have 10, 20 years of work experience. That 5 to 10 years of experience is what matters. So now we're saying, okay, what have I done in the past 5 to 10 years? Let's just focus on that. You're now focusing on your 5 to 10 years, okay? Now we're going back to the job description and we're looking at it and say, okay, what are those key words in there that I need to make sure I have? So now you're whittling it down a little bit more. So maybe some of the experience that you had in those 5 to 10 years doesn't necessarily apply to this based off of the key words that you see in the job description. Okay, so I need to remove this or I need to add this. So we whittle it down a little bit more. And so now we've whittled it down enough that we're at the space where we're only focusing on is what is relevant to that role. Tailoring, okay, relevant work experience and data is what you need to end upon in order to get to the right output, okay? And what do you do with that now, okay? So as a recruiter, there's a few things that I'm looking for once you've decided that you've gotten the information that you think is relevant within the 5 to 10 years, and you have the keywords, and you're now at this place, right? So you're at the point of writing. I say right now, pull up your resume, and while I'm talking, go through this, okay? Think about these different points as I'm talking through this with your resume side by side, okay? So let's start off with the basics. The formatting is really important, okay? Because in those 6 to 10 seconds, we can see formatting issues, we can see grammar, we can see if it's all jumbled and not consistent. So do you have a summary at the top? Is it your objective, right? Is your font size consistent? That's such a basic piece of information, but sometimes as you're typing and changing things, you don't realize that it starts to become inconsistent. So that's another thing to look at. Is your font size and the way that it's formatted consistent? Are you bolding your titles? Are your years of experience on there? And are they in chronological order? We care about the Recent experience. What have you done currently? Look at your resume right now. I hope it's right beside you or on your screen, however you have it. And is it listed from most relevant experience? So from 2020, 2021, is that the first bit of experience that is being shown? That is going to be very important because we want to know what you're currently doing. And as we go down, obviously you're not working in some of those capacities anymore. So that should be past tense. So think about the tense that you're writing in as well and make sure that's consistent. So formatting, consistency, the flow, the chronological order of the years of experience, that's all just kind of basic, but at base, make sure you have that, right? And then you think about the length. So earlier I talked about the 5 to 10 years. So I would say if you have 5 to 10 years of experience, I know for those that have been in the workforce for a lot longer, you want to showcase everything that you've done. You're proud of yourself. And I get that. Trust me. But as I mentioned before, relevant experience and tailoring it. Does that experience 10 years ago actually make sense for this role? If not, rethink that, remove it, especially if it's 10 plus years ago, remove it, right? So 5 to 10 years, 2 pages, that's fine. Less than 5 years, you can have 1 page. The bullet points, you should only have about 5 to 6 bullet points because, like I said, 6 to 10 seconds, we don't want to read a book. So look at your resume right now. What's your formatting look like and how long is it? And do you have experience on there that is relevant to the role that you are wanting to apply to currently? Okay. Now having a big sign, green, keywords, phrases, and job titles. Let me tell you guys, as a recruiter, I'm looking for keywords to showcase, does this person have that base what I'm looking for? If you're applying for a senior program manager role, do you have a senior program manager title? Did you write program management on your resume? Go on to Google and search program management synonyms, words, project cycles, things like that. What is catering to that particular role? Go back to the job description too. Keywords, and make sure that those are on there. The job title equivalents. I know with different industries and different types of tech companies and companies in general, we have different titles for potentially ultimately the same sort of information. So look at job title equivalents. And whatever your job title is at your current company or past companies, put that. Don't lie on your resume. But you can also put like a backslash and put a functional title, right? So if functionally you were doing program management work, program manager. And I'm saying that because I'm looking for keywords. There are systems out there that are looking for keywords. We are really trying to get through as many resumes as we can. While it seems a little detached, we are still trying to make sure we're hiring the right people with the right experience. And the keywords and phrases and job titles is going to be really important, okay? So now go back to your resume, look at it again. How's your formatting? How's your length? And do you have keywords from the job description, from the job title on your resume? And is it relevant? Another piece is data. We don't want to see you copy your old job description from your company and put it on your resume. That tells us nothing. We want to know your accomplishments. Go back into your bank, into your brain bank, and think about the accomplishments that you have done on your teams, okay? And it needs to be result oriented. There needs to be data behind it, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, increasing revenue, decreasing costs. If you're working on projects, the size of the projects, that data needs to be in there because it shows achievements, it shows you deliver results. It's an Amazon buzzword, I will say that, but it shows that you deliver results. Okay, and that's what we're looking for. Somebody who has done work, has done it well, and made something happen. So don't forget the data point, right? Don't just put made a project plan. Okay, you made a project plan. Why? What was the impact of that? What happened after you made the project plan? Did you launch a new program? Did you launch a new product? Did you launch a new tool? You know, think about what happened after you made that project plan and put that in there. Don't just leave it as project plan X, Y, and Z. Project plan, and as a result, this is what happened. Always have your results in there. And another point is the skills and certifications. That's going to be important. It's especially for certain roles that require more technical skill sets, or even from program management standpoint, Six Sigma, PMP, for tech, maybe SQL, maybe Python. For compliance, there's CAMS. So whatever certification and skills that you have attained or currently working on, put that in there, because some recruiters or hiring managers are going to be looking for people specifically with certifications, maybe with an MBA, things like that. So make sure those are on there as well. So because I have the big green sign, keywords and phrases, I want to harp on that a little bit more. Okay. It is important because of what I said as far as tailoring, and we only take 6 to 10 seconds to look at your resume. So here's some examples for a program manager. Program management, project management, strategy, end-to-end delivery, projects, leading projects, globalization, program owner, roadmap, report. Just think of all the things that are base importance for a particular program manager role, and make sure those words are on there. So for those of you that are looking for roles in this particular space, I say look at your resume right now, take a second, see if you have some of these words on there. If you don't, add them, or go back to the job description, see what the basic requirements are, and put some of those words in there. And that's all it is, right? For a business analyst, SQL, analytics, analysis, certain tools are going to be important that you've had experience in. So make sure you put those in there. QuickSight is something specific to Amazon, AWS, so if you have experience with certain AWS systems, if you're applying to Amazon, put that in there, right? Product manager, product development, launch product delivery. This is all basic phrases and words, but it's really important because, like I said, at base, if you don't have this, if I don't see it pop up, I'm going to assume you don't have the experience that I'm looking for, and it's gone, right? For managerial roles, make sure you're putting words like lead, management, managed, hired, leader, innovative leader. That management experience. If you're applying for a manager role and you know 100% it's a manager role, have that be your first or second bullet point. Managed a team of, led a team of, and the number 8, 4, 10, 12. Org, VP of org, have that be your bullet number one, because then we can check it off. Okay, they have managerial experience. Let's keep looking. Okay, because that's important for those managerial roles. You can have this experience all day, but for those roles that they really need somebody that has that experience, if you don't have it, unfortunately, the recruiter is probably going to pass on it. So at least make that your first or second bullet point. But then going back to the results and the data, put the data in there about what sort of successes have you had as a manager, right? Put that in there. It's just really important to use those specific phrases so that we can focus in on that information and continue to want to read and to say, we want to move forward with this candidacy, because I know at base, they say they have program management, they've led projects, they've done stuff globally, they have SQL experience, they also led a team. Boom. I love this candidate already. Let's move them forward to the hiring manager review, or depending on how the company's process goes, maybe interview. Okay. So keywords, phrases, and job titles are going to be really important. You can write some of these down, so I'll keep this up for a second. But I really think at base, for at least these are a few roles, right? And I'm coming from a non-tech, so this is a little bit non-tech bias. But overall, I think the point that I'm trying to get to you guys is that looking at the job description and those keywords and putting them on there is going to allow the recruiter to move forward with your resume. Okay. Here's an example. On the left side is a one-page resume, very clean, few bullet points. See, they have 5 or 6. They have a lot of data listed, result-oriented. They have a profile summary. The summary will have some keywords in there as well about what you're looking for. They have the job title. And then at the bottom, you can see some of their skills, right? So they have SQL, they have analytics. So they have those keywords on here. And their resume got pushed through. They have their experience. Now, their experience is shown on the right-hand side. You can put it on the left. You can put it underneath the title, but your experience years need to be on there. We want to know how long have you worked in that particular position, because that can kind of let us know how much experience or knowledge that you might have in that space. So this is chronological. They start off with their most recent and went all the way down, right? So this person has had the opportunity to stay at roles in one place for a while, but you see they didn't list everything. They listed the few bullet points that were relevant, mattered, had result, data, formatted well, skills on there, and we're good to go. Now this resume on the right-hand side, just take a moment, look at that resume and look at the one next to it. And write in the chat what you think is wrong or what you think is right, or just tell me what your opinions are about these two resumes. So my opinion about the resume on the right, too much going on. I don't know what I'm looking at. There's no bullet points. It's very wordy. There's random lines that say, 3 words. It's a lot going on. I will say I've received resumes that were 17 pages long, and I said, no, I'm not looking at that. I can't do it. That says a lot about your ability to communicate. Your resume says a lot, right? Going back to your brand, it says a lot about you. So to me, that says you maybe don't know how to communicate very well. Who knows? You might just copy some job description information, which then tells me that you're not that serious about getting the job because you didn't tailor it, you didn't look at it, you didn't correct it, you didn't try to make it look presentable. There's a lot going on here, and this is a no-no. Do not put paragraphs in here like this without bullet points to separate information. I don't even know what I'm reading, right? The resume on the right has the bullet points clear, concise. I know what this candidate has done. The other one, although it says program manager, it's in the details. Standing out is in the details, and I can't even begin to read what is there. So make sure you're bulleted, you're formatted well, you're result oriented, you're clean, concise, and your resume is the right length, not 17 pages. How many of you have reviewed resumes for friends, your job, and you saw more than 2 pages? What did you do with it? Put it in the chat. What did you do when you had resumes that were too long? Or, if you're trying to read a short story, you don't want to spend a lot of time you're reading a short story. So this is your short story for a job. So make sure we're able to read it, okay? And so we're coming to the end on the next slide. This is our last slide. I just want to say thank you guys. And Here's some final checkpoints as we kind of talk through what matters. So, what is your story? Start off. What are you trying to do? What job are you trying to get? What are you trying to convey to the interviewer? You got that down. Did you go and review the job description? You found the role, you targeted yourself. Did you finally write the job description? Did you read it? Do you understand what it's asking of you? And now, how are you going to tailor your resume? So now that you have that, it's in the details. Are you listing the right experience? Keeping it short, 5 to 10 years, chronological order, adding those keywords, checking the job description again, right? Formatting. Is it now result oriented? Are you speaking to your accomplishments and skills? If you have all of this, you have the format, the length, the keywords, the data, the skills, and the results, you're good to go. Submit your resume away and let it speak for itself, because guess what? You did your due diligence. You did it the right way. You added the keywords in there and let it speak for itself. Okay? So I just want to thank you guys. I hope this was helpful. I just really want to help you guys get to the right space from a resume's perspective. Good luck, and take this information. I say apply it today. Don't let this go by the wayside. Update your resume today, even if you're not technically looking for a job right now. Practice. Update your resume today. Look at the information on there, because what you wrote last year, the year before that, you might come back today and say, whoa, why did I do that? Why did I put that on there? I would not submit this again, right? So go check your resume today. Know yourself, know what jobs you want to apply for, and just let it speak for yourself, okay? Thank you so much. Bye.